Okay, and then there was the case in 2012 where ultimately you pled guilty to 4 felonies.
Yeah.
So what was that about?
I knew somebody through my aunt who wanted to be like a role model at that time in my life. And he owned a crazy amount of guns. He even took me to the gun range before. This was before I was a convicted felon. I decided that I'm going to hit his house. Just on some grimy shit, and we did. So we ended up going in there, grabbing what we grabbed, and what ended up happening was like maybe a week or 2 weeks later, I get caught with the gun in the same neighborhood I got caught with the other one. So they grabbed me with the gun. They tried to say when I got picked up that we were breaking into a car, and that was like the excuse to search us, but we never did. So I got arrested on burglary of a conveyance and carrying a concealed firearm. I go to jail, and then it's like however much time passes, investigators come to see me. So I get a call out. They take me out. I'm thinking I'm going to see the nurses or whatever, or my lawyer, because it's all in the same area in Hillsborough County. So when I go in the room, it's 2 detectives. They're like, all right, we want to find out what happened with your uncle. I'm like, what uncle? I don't have an uncle down here. We want to find out what happened with this situation. You can either help us or tell us to fuck off. I told them to fuck off. The interview ends. The next day, I got hit with like 16 new charges. So on burglary, 15 counts, grand theft firearm. It was just a whole grand theft 5,000 to 10,000. Long list of shit. They only caught me with 1 gun. Mm-hmm. So I ended up only getting convicted on carrying a concealed firearm, grand theft of a firearm, grand theft, and then there was one more. It's not coming to my head right now.
Right, because you had 19 total felonies at one point?
Yeah. Because they hit me with every single gun.
Okay.
But they couldn't get me with them. They only had the one that they found on me.
Right, because you were potentially facing life in prison had you been convicted on the more serious ones, right?
Well, not even the gun charges, but the armed burglary charge is punishable by life in Florida.
Okay. How scared were you as an 18-year-old to be facing life at that point?
I didn't feel like I was going to get life because I was talking to the older dudes in the county, but a lot of them were saying like you could get like probably like 10 or something like that. But honestly, waking up is kind of like a dream. Like you don't really know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I was never facing time like that before. And then in the county, you're not really worried about that until you go into the courtroom because you're dealing with whatever's going on in the dorm that you're in. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're fighting in there, you're this, that, and the third. So it's like, I wasn't really too worried. And it was my first felony conviction. So I'm thinking I'm going to be all right. They're telling me about the YO camps, but they're telling me you don't want to go to YO. Just whatever you do, make sure they sign you off as an adult and they don't sentence you to a YO.
What's the problem with YOs?
It's fucking gladiator school.
Gladiator school.
Yeah, shit's crazy.
Okay, so eventually you got it down to 4 felonies.
Yeah.
And you got a plea deal with, was it 36 months?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's state, so you potentially could do half of that, right?
Nah,
no.
Florida's 85%.
85%. Oh, really? I thought that was more of a federal thing.
We got one of the more strictest states.
Okay, so you're looking at 2.5 years, 2 3/4 years.
Minus the 6 months I got time served in the county.
Okay. When you got that plea deal, were you relieved or was like, damn, I'm about to lose my teenage years right now?
Bro, it was a mix of both. I didn't look at it like teenage years. I was just like, I'm glad it's over. But at the same time, I know I'm about to experience some shit because everybody's telling me, you know what I mean? Like when I was in the courtroom, they told me, look, we're going to give you this plea because the first offer I think was like 4 or 4.5. Then they said 3 years. I took the 3. So I was looking over at my aunt, my grandmother. I'm like, I got 3. They think I'm throwing up blood. I'm like, I got 3. I got 3. And I was smiling in the courtroom. You know what I mean? I was happy it's going to be over with and whatever. Then I got back to the dorm and they're like, bro, they still might, reclassify you as a YO. So now I got all the older guys telling me like, yo, this is what you need to do when you get there. This is how you need to act. And it's just that whole thing of now this is what I'm going to get into. That was kind of making me a little bit more nervous because you don't know what to expect until you get in there.
So did you get sent to YO or regular adult prison?
So I was sentenced as an adult, but I was reclassified in the prison reception center as a YO. So there was one other kid that was my age with me, and he had already been to prison. So when he walked up, because, we're all butt-ass naked and shit, and you get your boxers on and you walk up and they fucking take your height, they either give you a hat or they don't. They didn't give him a hat. I walked up, they gave me a red hat. When they gave me that hat, everybody that's in like this, it's a big cell where they just fit everybody in their boxes. The second they gave me the hat, everybody was like, and I just saw their reaction. I'm like, fuck.
So that's the YO hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to wear hats. And then the whole atmosphere just changed once I got the hat.